Good morning, dear kids. This video consists of all the formulas which are required for grade 9th maths. So let's start with compound interest first. My dear kids, for compound interest, first I'll be taking your formula for amount. Amount is equal to P 1 plus R upon 100 raised to N. My dear kids, this P is principal. This R is rate of interest. This N is number of years. And this is amount. Next, if I want CI, I can go for principal 1 plus R upon 100 raised to N minus 1. So if you want directly to get with compound interest, you can use this formula. Again, this is your principal. This is your rate of interest. And this is the number of years. My dear kids, when the rates for successive years are different, in that case, you can go for amount is equal to principal 1 plus R1 upon 100 when you have different rates for different years and so on. My dear kids, your next formula is when the interest is compounded, compound interest is for half yearly. It is also called as semi-annually. Okay. So now in that case, your formula for amount becomes principal 1 plus R upon 200 raised to 2N. Your next I am taking with expansions. Let's take the identities of square. A plus b the whole square is equal to a square plus b square plus 2ab. A minus b the whole square is equal to a square plus b square minus 2ab. My dear kids, when you add a plus b the whole square plus a minus b the whole square, you will get 2 bracket a square plus b square. Are you getting my point? I have added these both and I will get this. Next you have a plus b the whole square minus a minus b the whole square. That will be 4ab. Next is similar square identities. If I use for a plus 1 upon a the whole square, it will be a square plus 1 upon a square plus 2. A minus 1 upon a the whole square will be a square plus 1 upon a square minus 2. My dear kids, when I add these both, that is a plus 1 upon a square plus a minus 1 upon a square, what I will get is a 2 bracket a square plus 1 upon a square. But if I am subtracting this, that is a plus 1 upon a square minus a minus 1 upon a square, I will get the answer 4. Let's take with cube. A plus b the whole cube. My dear kids, a cube plus b cube plus 3ab bracket a plus b. If I want a minus b the whole cube, that will be a cube plus, a cube minus b cube minus 3ab bracket a minus b. If I want a plus 1 upon a the whole cube, that will be a cube plus 1 upon a cube plus 3 bracket a plus 1 upon a. If I want a minus 1 upon a the whole cube, that will be a cube minus 1 upon a cube minus 3 bracket a minus 1 upon a. My dear kids, let's take the square of 3 terms like this. It will be a square plus b square plus c square plus 2ab plus 2bc plus 2ac. If you want, you can write it a square plus b square plus c square plus 2 bracket ab plus bc plus ac. My dear kids, when you are using the same for a minus b minus c the whole square, don't forget to take with the sign. Always take the sign of the digits. Dear kids, we also know a square minus b square. It is a plus b, a minus b. Similarly, if I give you a plus b, a minus b, you can write it a square minus b square. Next, my dear kids, I will be taking laws of exponents. In that, we will be taking, if I have a raised to m into a raised to n, it will be always a raised to m plus n. If I have a raised to m upon a raised to n, it will be always a raised to m minus n. If I have a raised to m bracket n, it will be the product, that is a raised to mn. Got my point clear? For example, if I have a raised to 0, in that case the answer is always 1. My dear kids, if I have a raised to, or if I have something like this, square root or cube root or mth root, then you have to take a raised to 1 upon m. If I have, suppose, a negative exponent, to make it positive, I have to reciprocate. So these are the few 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which you can use them in the chapter indices. Next, my dear kids, I will be taking conditions for congruency of triangles. My dear kids, if I give you two triangles, this is triangle ABC, this is PQR. If I give you AB is equal to PQ, BC is equal to QR, AC is equal to PR, so this test will be SSS test. So the two triangles will be congruent by triple S test. Suppose if I give you two triangles, in that I am giving you this side AB is equal to PQ, both are 5 centimeter. And if I give you BC and QR are 6 centimeter. And in between you have angle which is 60 degree. So my dear kids, such kind of triangles will be congruent by which test? It will be side, angle, side. As you can notice that there are two sides and in between you have an angle. If I have two triangles like this with a right angle here, and if I give you that AB is equal to PQ, AC is equal to PR, and there is 90 degree in both the triangles, then the two triangles will be congruent by RHS test, that is right angle, hypotenuse, side test. Sometimes they will also give you again two right angle triangles, and here I will give you the marking. Angle C is equal to angle R, angle B is equal to angle Q, and side AB is equal to side PQ. In that case, two triangles are congruent by angle, angle, side. My dear kids, many kids make mistake by writing side, angle, angle. Don't write such kind of test, is not available. You have to use angle, angle, side. My dear kids, next is your midpoint theorem. In that, if there is a line segment joining two midpoints of any two sides of a triangle, and is parallel to the third side, then it is equal to half of the third side. So if I am giving you a triangle ABC and I am saying you that PQ are the midpoints, then PQ will be parallel to BC and PQ will be half of BC. That is the midpoint theorem. Next, my dear kids, it is the converse of midpoint theorem. What does converse of midpoint theorem says? That if the straight line is drawn through the midpoint of one side of a triangle parallel to the other side, it will bisect the third side. That means here this point will also become the midpoint automatically. So if I have given you ABC triangle, P is a midpoint. From P one line is drawn which is parallel to BC, then this Q will automatically becomes a midpoint. This is converse of midpoint theorem. My dear kids, your next is, if I am drawing a trapezium and I am taking two midpoints of the non-parallel sides like E and F, I'll mark this as A, B, C, D. Then the measurement of EF will be equal to half of sum of AB plus CD. So in every trapezium, the length of a line segment joining the midpoints of two non-parallel sides is equal to half of sum of length of parallel sides. Next is your Pythagoras theorem. Which says it is applicable only in right angle triangle, which says if I am giving you something like this, hypotenuse square is equal to first side square plus second side square. So in that case, AC square is equal to AB square plus BC square. If you want to find each interior angle, in that case, you have to go for the same formula, 2n minus 4 into 90 upon n. That is the number of sides. If you want each exterior angle, in that case, you have to go for 360 degree upon n, because the addition of the exterior angles is always 360. तो अगर एक exterior angle चाहिए तो 360 divided by n. My dear kids, the addition of interior and exterior is always 180. So be very sure, if this is a polygon, this is the interior angle and this is the exterior angle. So the addition of this will be always 180 because it forms linear pair. Next, my dear kids, I'll be taking your circles. In that, if a straight line is drawn from a center to a chord, it will be always perpendicular and it will divide the chord in two equal halves. Always remember, from a center to a chord, if you are drawing any line, then that will be perpendicular line. Perpendicular, that means it will be 90 degree and it will divide the chord in two equal halves. So if I am giving you this chord to be 24, this will become 12 and 12. My dear kids, if the chords are equal, then they will be equidistant from the center. अगर ये 24 सेंटीमीटर है, ये 24 सेंटीमीटर है, तो इसका डिस्टेंस अपने सेंटर से इक्वल ही होगा. So this will be equal to this. These both will be equal. Getting my point? So equal chords are equidistant from the center. Equal chords are equidistant from the center. Next, my dear kids, if in a circle you have two equal chords, then they will subtend equal angles at the center. So if I say that chord AB is equal to chord BC, so the angle in between which they have formed, the central angle, will be also equal. Okay, so two arcs or two equal chords subtend equal angles at the center. Two equal chords or equal arcs subtends equal angle at the center. Got my point clear? My dear kids, if you have this as a circle and this I give you a chord AB and I say you that AB belongs to a pentagon, then if it is a side of a pentagon, then वो जो central angle बनाएगा that will be 360 upon 5. Okay, so remember the central angle depends on the which polygon does your side belongs to, does your chord belongs to. अगर मैंने यहाँ पे सर्कल दिया और ये chord है जो आपका हेक्सागन को बिलोंग करता है, हेक्सागन का पार्ट है, तो ये अगर सेंट्रल एंगल बना रहा है इसमें तो सेंट्रल एंगल विल बी 360 अपॉन 6. 6 वाई? बिकॉज हेक्सागन इज 6 साइडेड. सो ईच सेंट्रल एंगल विल बी 360 डिवाइडेड बाय नंबर ऑफ साइड्स. My dear kids, next is I am talking about the adjustment factor which we make in our class interval. My dear kids, if I give you a class interval from 1 to 10 and 10 to 20, so that is a continuous class interval. So continuous class intervals are useful for making histograms. But in case if I give you class interval 1 to 10 and 11 to 20, in that case what you will be doing is the adjustment factor you have to make. How? This is the upper class limit, this is the lower class limit. Okay, so the upper class limit of the first class interval and the lower class limit of the second class interval are subtracted. तो इसमें आएगा 11 minus 10, that is 1, and that is to be divided by 2, so that will be 0.5. So 0.5 in this case will be called as the adjustment factor. तो adjustment factor का करना क्या है? तो adjustment factor जैसे मैंने आपको 1 to 10, 11 to 20 दिया है, तो 1 में से आपका एडजस्टमेंट फैक्टर 0.5 सब्ट्रैक्ट होता है और 10 में 0.5 ऐड होता है. उसी तरीके से हर एक लोअर लिमिट में सब्ट्रैक्ट होगा, हर एक अपर लिमिट में 0.5 ऐड होगा. Got my point? And now your new class intervals will be 0.5 to 10.5, 10.5 to 20.5 and so on. Got my point? So you can see that we have made the class intervals as continuous. Got my point clear? Now what is the class size, my dear kids? Many kids do not know what is class size. Class size is the difference between upper and the lower limit. अगर मैं 10 to 20 बोल रही हूँ तो इन दोनों में जो difference आएगा 10 से लेकर 20. So upper limit कौन सा है? 20 है. Lower limit कौन सा है? 10 है. और इन दोनों का जो difference होगा that will be called as class size. Got my point clear? Okay. What is class mark then? Class mark is the midway of your class interval. इनका बीच का in between point. So how you have to find class mark between 10 to 20? You have to do 10 plus 20 upon 2. So that will be 30 upon 2. That will be 15. So class mark of this class interval 10 to 20 is 15. My dear kids, next I am talking about frequency and cumulative frequency. जैसे ही मैंने क्लास मार्क आपको दे दिए, कुछ आपको फ्रीक्वेंसीज दे दिए जैसे 9, 6, 5, 4 और आपको CF फाइंड करना है. तो CF फ्रीक्वेंसी फर्स्ट वाला तो सेम ही रहेगा, सेकंड वाला आपको सिर्फ ऐड ऑन करते जाना है. सो 9 plus 6. सो वॉट एवर आंसर यू विल गेट हियर, again you have to add 5 to it. So 15 plus 5, that will be 20. Again 20 में आपको ये 4 ऐड करना है. So that is how we find cumulative frequency. My dear kids, whenever we project this on graph now, frequencies and cumulative frequencies, जब frequencies हम लोग जब histogram बनाने के लिए graph पे project करेंगे, so something like this we will get. And if my graphs are not starting from 0, okay, so I have to put a kink there. I have to put a zigzag line there indicating that my graph has not begun from 0. Getting my point? It indicates that the graph is not drawn from the origin. Okay? So you have to put that mark. This is called as kink. And this is a histogram. Then what is frequency polygon, my dear kids? So frequency polygon, when I join the midpoints of all the adjacent class intervals. Okay? Now if I take a midpoint of this and down also class interval का midpoint और यहाँ पे भी आपको class interval का midpoint और जब आप इन सब को join करोगे so it will be called as a polygon. My dear kids, your next is mean. हम मीन कैसे फाइंड करते हैं? मीन इज समेशन ऑफ ऑब्जर्वेशंस अपॉन नंबर ऑफ ऑब्जर्वेशन, दैट इज सम ऑफ ऑब्जर्वेशंस अपॉन number of observations. Is that clear? So that will be called as mean. My dear kids, your next term is median. How to find the median? For that, your first thing will be count the number of observations. Always put your observations in ascending order. And then we have formula. If the number of observations is odd, आप पहले observations count करोगे और आपको odd number मिल रहा है तो median का एक formula होता है, that is n plus 1 upon 2th term. तो इस term की जो value आएगी वो आपकी median कहलाएगी. Suppose for example आपको number of observations odd आए हैं जैसे कि 11, तो 11 plus 1 upon 2 that is your 12 upon 2 that is your 6th term. तो आप अपने ऑब्जर्वेशन में काउंट करना 6 टर्म की वैल्यू क्या है वो वैल्यू आपको लिखनी पड़ती है. व्हाट मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द किड्स डू मिस्टेक कि वो 6 ही वहां पे आंसर लिख के आते हैं. दैट विल बी रॉन्ग. 6 टर्म की आपको वैल्यू डालनी है वहां पे. योर नेक्स्ट इज इफ यू आर गेटिंग इवन नंबर्स देन योर मीडियन इज हाफ n upon 2 term plus n upon 2 plus 1 term, उसका हाफ मतलब n upon 2. सपोज फॉर एग्जाम्पल आपके इवन नंबर 10 आ रहे हैं तो 10 upon 2 टर्म प्लस 10 upon 2 प्लस 1 टर्म उसका आधा, उसके बीच का नंबर 10 upon 2 मतलब 5th टर्म और ये हो गया 6th टर्म. उसका बीच का टर्म जो आएगा 5th और 6th के बीच में जो वैल्यू आएगी दैट विल बी कॉल्ड एज योर मीडियन. माय डियर किड्स, योर नेक्स्ट इज एरिया पेरीमीटर. एरिया फॉर नॉर्मल ट्रायंगल, इफ आई गिव यू हाइट you will have half base into height. If it is an equilateral triangle, that is all three sides are same, so it will be root 3 upon 4 side square. If in case I give you a triangle which has all the three sides different, in that case your area will be by Heron's formula. For that you have to first find perimeter, divide by 2 to get semi-perimeter, and then that semi-perimeter you have to utilize in this formula as S minus A, S minus B, S minus C. What is S here? It's the semi-perimeter. And what is ABC? A is your first side, B is your second side, and C is your third side. Next, my dear kids, rectangle. What is the area of rectangle? Area is equal to length into breadth and perimeter is equal to 2L plus B. Got my point clear? And what will be length of diagonal? Diagonal will be under root L square plus B square. जब आप रेक्टेंगल बनाते हो उसका जो डायगोनल बनता है तो ये आपका L, ये आपका B, ये आपका L, तो डायगोनल का क्या होगा, पाइथागोरस थ्योरम से जाओगे तो डायगोनल विल बी इक्वल टू बी स्क्वायर प्लस एल स्क्वायर, डायगोनल का स्क्वायर. सो डायगोनल विल बी इक्वल टू अंडर रूट बी स्क्वायर प्लस एल स्क्वायर. My dear kids, area of trapezium. For area of trapezium, we have half sum of parallel sides into height. So trapezium is something like this. So you have the parallel sides and you will be given the height. Kids, did you understood cuboid volume will be length into breadth into height. TSA will be choice bracket length breadth plus breadth height plus height length. The lateral surface area, that is the four wall area, will be choice bracket length plus breadth into height. And the length of diagonal, my dear kids, will be under root length square plus breadth square plus height square. Let's next take with cube. जो क्यूब होता है वो स्क्वायर से बना हुआ रहता है. And what will be the volume? The volume will be side into side into side. That will be side cube. Area, that is the total surface area, will be 6 side square. एक एरिया होती है साइड स्क्वायर और ऐसे 6 सर्फेसेस होते हैं. सो 6 साइड स्क्वायर इज द एरिया. अगर 4 वॉल की एरिया पूछ रहे हैं या लेटरल सरफेस पूछ रहे हैं तो वो सिर्फ 4 वॉल की होती है, तो 4 साइड स्क्वायर. एंड लेंथ ऑफ डायगोनल क्यूब का इट विल बी अंडर रूट 3a स्क्वायर. सो a आपका फ्री हो जाएगा अंडर रूट 3. माय डियर किड्स, कभी कभी आपसे प्रॉब्लम में टोटल कॉस्ट ऑफ कवरिंग पूछते हैं, तो बी वेरी श्योर. फिर आप कैसे फाइंड करोगे टोटल कॉस्ट? इट विल बी रेट इनटू क्वांटिटी. आपकी कितनी क्वांटिटी है, कितनी एरिया है, उसको रेट पर यूनिट करेंगे तो टोटल कॉस्ट आ जाएगा. समटाइम्स इन योर प्रॉब्लम टोटल कॉस्ट विल बी गिवन and per unit cost will be given. So you have to divide this to get as per your requirement of the problem. You will get your area or you might get your perimeter. Sometimes in your problem width of the carpet will be given. So be very sure when you go to the market you don't buy carpet with respect to width. We buy with respect to length. So you have to divide area with width to get with the length, and then you can multiply with your per unit cost to get your total cost. My dear kids, sometimes you have structures like this, like of a swimming pool and other. So in that case, if I ask you volume, you have to go for cross section area into पीछे का length. माय डियर किड्स, आपकी जिस हिसाब से क्रॉस सेक्शन होगा, यहाँ पे ट्रेपेजियम है तो क्रॉस सेक्शन एरिया मतलब ट्रेपेजियम का एरिया और पीछे का आपको लेंथ दिया जाएगा. सो दैट यू हैव टू मल्टीप्लाई टू गेट द वॉल्यूम ऑफ दिस स्ट्रक्चर. Okay dear kids, for remaining formulas you have to watch my next video, that will be formulas part 2. Okay, thank you. God bless.